Hey guys, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to Union Cross. We're going to be talking about the new frozen metals, if they're a skip or a pull. In all honesty, it's a little bit of both ways. It depends if you guys got the new Kyrie or not. Depends what metals you already have. Like, do you have the old Kyries and the old Xions? So on. And how useful is that new Supernova Elsa going to be? Because that 180% is actually really good, especially because it carries over for 2 turns. I'm going to kind of go over through everything, show you guys a couple setups, and then you guys can make the decision for yourselves if your setup needs it or if your setup can skip it. Again, if you got that new Kingdom Hearts 3 Supernova Kyrie, you really don't need anything from here. This is just here for collection, and that's pretty much it. Some of them do have unique 2-turn buffs, so that is something to think about that might help you, but it's not enough to go spend the jewels on. Alright, so let's start off with Kristoff, Anna, and Olaf. They're all 3 of these are exactly the same. One is for magic, one's for speed, and one is for power. They all at 6-star have 100% guilt, but at 7-star go to 120%. That's the only difference between the 6 and the 7-star besides the increase in damage, and they're not that crazy good. They are exactly what the other tier 5 primes are at. 35.65 single target. There is no AoE or anything else on this. It's just one target. So they're only buffers, no debuffs, which if they were some sort of debuff, it'd make these really good, but sadly they're only a buffer, but it's also just enough to make into perfect buffers, because these metals complement your Kyrie EX and your Xion EX that has Overwrite. You play those first in slot 1, and then you play one of these and you pretty much got all the buffs you need. So Kyrie in the beginning will give you, if you can see over here, all sevens down, and then when you put Anna, Olaf, or Kristoff, depending on what color you want, when you go to the next slot, you're going to notice everything maxes out at 15 for speed. If you put Olaf there, magic. If you put Kristoff there, your power will be increased to 15. The only issue you have to go off is your defense down, and that's where the other prime metals come in. So let's just say that we were doing power and this was Kristoff instead over here. So let's go grab Kristoff, put him over there. So slot 1, 2, by slot 3, you're going to have all that down to 14 down for upright, and down to 12 defense. General defense, you do want it to max 15, so it's not a crazy good setup there when it comes to the prime metals, except for Prime Mickey. If you guys picked up Prime Mickey, it's going to be a lot better for you, because that's going to go down to 14s. So you're going to have your buffs maxed out depending which one you want to do, and by the time you hit Mickey over here, he will give you that general defense down by 14, which is really good. So they do complement when it comes to that, but you can also, without them, use the previous Kyrie before the Kyrie EX and just use them 2 times, use a copycat metal to copy them to get the same kind of effect there. So we'll put one over here and we'll put one over here. Boom, you got all the way down to 15, 15, 15, and 13 for the entire setup. If you don't have 2 Kyries, all you do is use a backwards copy metal or forward copy metal to copy Kyrie or Xion setup, depending what you guys need, upright or reverse. But you guys can see without them, you're still doing perfectly fine for buffs and debuffs. But the end result is that you're not going to have the damage there, so that's going to really suck, because you're missing 3 slots without damage, where if you use Olaf and you use Kristoff or Anna with the Mickey, at least the Mickey's going to start doing damage, where these Kyries or these Xions, they're not going to do damage. You could use the stained glass metals, the previous ones that didn't have Overwrite, but again, it all depends on what you guys have, and I said it all depends for you specifically if you're going to skip or pull this. This is one of those cases here. So I got to refresh this because it's freezing on me. And then one more last thing before that, the counter is increased by 3 for enemies counters, and we know that is usually an issue when we come to those certain quests, where if our metals don't ignore the enemies counters or add value to them, we pretty much run out, because look at the last event, the enemy only had 5 blue counters and the plants around him had only 2. So Marluxia's event, something like this could have really helped, but again, it's only single target, and even that is a hurt, because the plants had such little counters, you needed something that infected all of them around. So that could also change the decision if this is worth it over the other Kyrie, because the Kyrie and the Xion only does +1, this does +3. Just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to Anna and Elsa here, the 2 metals together, it basically gives you capped out for upright, general strength, and your speed. Now, I'm thinking that somewhere down the line, they might release metals that do the complete opposite of these. They'll do general defense down, upright defense down, and speed defense down by 15. So if you put these 2 metals together, you'll actually have a perfect buff and debuff depending on which metal you're using, a speed one, a magic one, or a power one. I kind of feel they might do something like that. If they do, then that's perfect. The only issue is they don't have Overwrite. And if you guys hit quest 10 on a Maleficent event, you'll realize she starts with times 15 defense buffs and everything. So having Overwrite in your first slot really does help out. Even if you guys do have that new Kyrie and you don't want to waste a supernova on first cast, you guys could go any stained glass metal, Kyrie metal with Overwrite into the new Kyrie or into any other buffers to get rid of the enemy's high defense buffs. But the Anna and Elsa, honestly, again, with everything else that's going on, you don't need a perfect 15, especially if the enemy starts with 15 buffs. This is not going to help that much. It is good to have that times 15 right away, because if you double cast any of your previous Kyries or you do Kyrie into one Kyrie, you guys saw it only capped to 14. You need triple cast 3 Kyries, 1 Overwrite, 2 normal ones to get that 15 cap into general strength. Even if you use a Mickey or anything, no other metal has that times 8 besides these frozen metals. So these frozen metals work perfectly when it comes to getting that increased buff cap to 15 from your old buffers and this buffer right here. So having a metal that does that as well is going to be pretty good in PvP. If an enemy tries to do a turtle stance on you, that's going to work out. But like I said, these are just like, they're okay. They'll give you the damage while giving you the buffs, and that's why it's better than a double Kyrie setup. And I'm pretty sure they are adding these here for new players, because new players are probably not going to have a copy of Xion EX or a copy of Kyrie EX, the old ones, not the plus ones. So this is the replacement for that. If you guys do have the Kyrie and the Xions, you pretty much don't need it. Now for Supernova Elsa over here, she is very powerful. Damage wise, not really. She is a tier 8 that only has a 36.89, but she does apply, like I said, all the other buffs that you need. So if you have the previous Kyrie or the previous Xion, she's actually going to be really good. So let me put her in the second slot. Doesn't matter what Keyblade we're using, I just want to show you the example. And we're going to go grab the other Kyrie EX Plus that has Overwrite and put that in slot 1. So if you guys look at slot 1 times 7 all across the board, when you go to slot 2, you're going to have 15 up, 15, 15, 15 down, and 15. The only thing you're missing is reverse, but these are upright metals, so they're going to complement an upright setup. I bet you they're going to have eventually another version. So Elsa over there, having that times 8, like I said, perfect times 8 to go with the times 7 to make 15. You got perfect times 8 general defense down to go with that plus 7 that Kyrie has. So these metals pretty much complement the old Kyries and the old Xion. So if you're not lucky enough to get this one, then you have a chance of getting this one if you have the jewels. But they're both a 10 Mercy with the VIP. And if you're going to go for something for a 10 Mercy, go for the Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie. Don't go for the Elsa. The one thing that Elsa has that is so good is that 2-turn Supernova with 180%. Now, that's only a 30% difference when you look at the Kyrie, but this Kyrie is only for the 1 turn. Her Supernova does add 200%, but only for 1 attack. So this 150 will go for your entire Keyblade. This 180%, when you activate the Supernova, will carry over to every metal on 1 Keyblade, and in PvP, the next Keyblade as well. That big increase from 180 compared to your other ones, let's say the Foreteller Ear over here, if you did use him, 120, that 60% is huge. That's not a joke. That is a lot of damage. If you guys look at a tier 3 to a tier 5, a tier 3 will have 100% guilt, where a tier 5 will have 150%. And then a tier 5 to a tier 6 will be 180 to a tier 7. A tier 7 has 220. You're talking about 60% increase on top of that guilt. That is really big. That is like jumping to a tier 10. It's pretty much 30% on top of 30% is usually what they jump in between everything. So it's pretty big of an increase of damage, and that's why they're putting that 10 Mercy on her. Not only because of the buffs and the debuffs, it's definitely not because of the damage. It's mostly because of that 2-turn 180%, which is really big. Even when you compare it to that 150 to 180, that's 30% still between the two. So if you did use these two together instead of the old Kyrie, you're still going to benefit from that. Slot 1, not slot 1, sorry. This is slot 1 after the Supernova of Kyrie if you decide to use on the first turn. you have all 12s and 15, and then you go into this one and boom, you're down to that magic and upgrade all that you need except for upgrade defense down. So it's not perfect, but it still works together, and you'll throw that 180% on everything else you need. You can even do it backwards if you wanted to, because she does take care of herself, and she'll give this carry 180%, but there's no point to that. You'd rather her do the maximum damage because she does have a multiplier of 36. Supernova Elsa, the 60% is huge, but again, I don't really think it's worth jumping for your jewels. In PvP, yes, it'll probably make a big difference. She'll be more of the defensive metal, probably that defense boost 6 on there, or defense boost 4 max, depending on what you need. You could put an attack boost on her and use it for the 180%. That will make a difference. The opponent can't get rid of that unless they use Dispel, and I'm not even sure if Dispel works on guilt percentage boost. It is a buff, so it probably will work, but either way, that's all she's really there for. Besides that, you don't need to go chasing for this too much. It's very unique, and it's just pretty much if you want the Frozen medals. Are you a fan of Frozen? You're probably going to go for these. For my free-to-play account, I'm most likely going to do one pull because my free-to-play account's not going to be going for the Kyrie, and my main account might do the same because I'm still not sure if I want to go for the new Kyrie right now. I'd rather wait for a free version of a Mercy pull instead of going for this VIP version at the moment. So, well, that's only because I am beating the content. I did beat Maleficent without the new Kyrie, so I'm like, okay, I have the medals currently. Either way, we're going to jump into the banners. The banners are here. You do get 2 medals per pull. It says a tier 5 or the tier 8 for that one. This one has a higher chance rate for VIP. You do get Elsa over here in 10 pulls. For the regular one, there's a lower percentage of getting this medal, but you can still get the Elsa in the normal banner, but not a 10 Mercy pull. If you do buy VIP, you will have in 5 pulls the Anna and Elsa medal, but like I said, the medals aren't like game breaking or anything like that. The Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie will definitely change your game, and I prefer you guys spend your jewels on that before you spend your jewels on the Frozen medals. And even the Frozen medals aren't needed once you got that Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie. So a quick little recap, guys, just to put this in your mind. If you do have the Kyries and the Xions, the newish one and the older one, these two together with any of these prime medals, especially Mickey, the Riku, anything in that category that has the general defense down that you're looking for, you're pretty much going to be okay. So like I said, the Riku you got over here, she's going to do it. Prime, Riku, and Roxas, you got Mickey. All these medals take care of themselves. So if you guys have any of the primes, any of the Roxas prime medals, Roxas and Xion, Roxas by himself, all those tier 5 medals, they will take care of themselves. Right here on slot number 3, you're going to have that perfect buffs you got for speed up, speed down, 15 general defense down. The only thing you're missing is that 1 strength up, and that's the only difference that I said about the Frozen medals. They do offer that ×8, but you might as well put a Kyrie or a Xion here so you can use multicolor Keyblades. If you're using a 1-color Keyblade, then those medals are going to do better because you can go into a Kristoff, into a Mickey, and you'll have perfect 15 for all the power medals that you need there. But if you guys do have these medals, the Kyrie and the Xion from previous times, you really don't need any of these medals because you can just pull off these prime medals with these 2 in these slots, and prime medals are all going to do pure damage. The only difference again is you get damage instead of just a buffer when you look at Kristoff and Olaf and all that. So that is pretty much it. It's up to you guys if you want to go for this or not. I will be pulling for my free-to-play account, maybe only if a high score challenge shows up. Even then, I do have the Kyrie and the Xion. So do I really need that 2-turn buff? Do I really need anything else from that? There is probably something very unique about them that I'm probably missing. If I do find out, I'll leave it in the description down below or even in the comment section. But if you guys want to add anything to this, let me know what your thoughts are on these medals. Are they a skip for you? Are they a pull for you? Do you think they're going to be worth it down the line? I feel like Kyrie and Xion have the value that we need already, along with the prime medals, that we kind of don't need that much from these guys. Not enough to go spending our jewels besides a collaboration and maybe a high score challenge. Either way, guys, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.